Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful day here today. My husband's weed eating, so I hope it's not too loud. But I wanted to go over a couple of my tomato plants today. I'm gonna put some in the garden, and I'm going to show you how I prep them to get into the garden and how I'm going to put them in the garden. So I hope you get something out of this video today, and let's get started. I actually feel like I maybe went a little overboard on my tomatoes this year. I only have 8 spots in my garden for them, and I have 5 varieties with at least 4 plants in each variety. So I have about 20 tomato plants and only room for 8. I want to put 2 of each variety in my garden. So I have Champagne Bubbles variety. I have a Dr. Witchy's yellow tomato. I have beefsteak tomatoes. I have Paul Robeson tomatoes, and I have Kellogg's Breakfast tomatoes. So I have a lot, and a lot are new to me this year, so I want to give them all a try. So like I said, I want to put 2 of each variety in my garden, but I'm gonna have to choose which plants I want to put into my garden out of those varieties, and I'll have to find room for 2 more tomato plants in my garden because I don't have enough space for all of my tomatoes. So I might have went a little bit overboard, but it's better to have more than not enough, right? That's my theory anyway. My Kellogg Breakfast, my Paul Robeson, my Dr. Witchy's, and my Champagne Bubbles, my beefsteaks, and my mystery tomato. The writing on the tag wore off, and I have no idea what it is. So lesson learned to myself, next time I write on my tags, I need to use permanent marker instead of just regular marker. Or now I have a mystery. I brought my tomatoes out to the garden, and now I'm going to tell you a little bit about how to start them to get ready to cut into the ground. This is the Champagne Bubbles tomato variety, and as you can see, it's very clean around the edges. I've already taken all of the little suckers off. This is one that I haven't worked with yet. You can see how it's kind of more bushy and messy looking, kind of sloppy. So what I wanted to show you was these little suckers here, these little armpit growers. All of these come off, because if they don't, then they'll all grow their own branches, which will make this very bushy and hard to manage. So I just pinch all those off with my fingernails. That is already making it cleaner looking. You see? And then another tip, as you plant these, you want to plant them as deep as you can. So I'll take all of these lower leaves off and plant it up to about right here. That means that all of this bottom part will become roots, and it'll have a stronger root system. Also, I got a tip by watching a YouTube channel, Roots and Refuge Farm. Jessica Sowers always puts an egg in the bottom of her tomato hole and breaks it just a little bit and gives it a little more protein to it. So that's what I'm going to be doing too. I've never tried it before, but I'm going to give it a shot and see how it does. think I found a pretty good way of doing this. I've got myself a system now. So I dig a pretty deep hole with a flat shovel, just a skinny one, to get really deep because I want to plant my tomatoes deep enough that they can get a really strong root system. And then when I get to this point, I put about half a cup of my Miracle-Gro potting mix in, and I put a little bit of water on it because it's a little dry. Then I put my egg, crack it with my shovel, just a little bit, and then I get my plant ready by cutting off all the bottom branches. I want to plant it as deep as I can to give it the best chance of getting a really strong root system. This one actually already is starting to get a little bit of flowers, and I'm just going to take those right off because I want them to focus right now on getting their roots situated instead of making flowers. Then I'm going to take this, just kind of squeeze it a little bit to break it up, and set it right down in here. And then I'm going to put a little more of my garden mixture around it. Honestly, this year is the first year that I've ever really done thinking about planting things. If things didn't grow, I didn't care the last couple of years. So I'm excited to see how this garden turns out this year. Now you just cover it up. And like I said, you want to cover it real deep. Make a nice mound around it. Tomatoes can get diseases on their leaves if their leaves get wet, which is why you want a mound around it so whenever it rains, the rain runs away from your plants instead of sticking to them or laying on. I mean, obviously they're gonna get rain on their leaves, but whenever you water your tomatoes, you wanna make sure you water them at their base and try not to like sprinkle them with rain water, like if you're gonna be watering. Does that make sense? I hope so. Here we go. He's nice, deep. Now he's only about 4 inches tall. Whenever he started off at about a foot. So that's how I do it. That's my system that I figured out that works the best for me in this garden. I want to make sure that I put my tag in so I don't have a mystery tomato again. And that's it.
This guy needs some water.
I wanted to show you, this is a good example. You see how crooked this stem is? This tomato plant actually fell over while it was waiting to be planted, and the plant started bending up towards the sun. So if you don't have an area where you can plant deep in your garden, but you want to plant your stem still, you can always turn it sideways before you get it into the garden and let it sit out for a couple of days, and it'll turn like this and shoot up towards the sky, and then you can plant this bottom part horizontally in your garden. That's another way where you can make sure it has a really strong root system, but still up and not as deep down in your garden as maybe you don't have enough room to go down, but you have room to go across. So that's a good tip that you could do also. Here they are. They are all planted and ready to start growing and being really healthy in the garden. I've got 8 healthy tomato plants in the ground. Once they start getting a little bit bigger, then I'll put in the tomato cages over them so they have something to hold on to. I only put 4 varieties in for right now. I left the beefsteak out. I do plan on doing something with the beefsteak because, like I said, I want to put that in the garden as well. I just have to figure out a space to put it, or get a container maybe. Get a container maybe, or my neighbor had some luck growing in straw bales, so I might try that too. Excuse me, but I think I'm gonna wrap it up for the day. It's been a really successful day, and I don't know if you can tell or not, but it is supposed to rain again tonight. I think I'm going to try to put peppers in if the weather is cleared tomorrow. I'll try to put some peppers in. If not, then it'll have to wait until Monday. But I don't know, we'll just see what Mother Nature gives us, and we'll just have to play with it from there. But thank you guys for watching this video, and I hope it was helpful, and I hope that you learned something, and I hope you come back for another one. Bye.